Seeking Living Truth, and here we are from actually a very nice day here in Keene, Texas. It was a little bit of a surprise not to deal with either rain or cold, or it was actually pretty perfect.
It was. Went for a little walk after lunch, and it was perfect. Short-sleeved walking weather.
Yeah, very nice, very nice. And first day of Thanksgiving break for us. I think, well, I know I'm off all next week. I'm pretty sure Aspen's off all next week. And so we have 1 week for Thanksgiving break.
Yep, and Aspen actually decided to start her Thanksgiving break early.
Yeah, she did. She got some sort of illness. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, we're not sure. Seems like a bad cold, except she threw up once and she had a slight fever for a bit. Yeah. So, who knows?
Yep.
But considering we're third day into it and I've hung out with her definitely a bit through all the coughing and sneezing, I have hopes, high hopes, that I will not be catching it. Yeah. Should not have said that, but.
Yeah. But yeah, so we haven't caught it yet, so that's kind of nice. Usually family, one person gets it and it just makes the rounds and everybody gets it, but not us, not this time anyway. So that's good, although I think germs invade Miranda all the time and they just get terrified and scared and give up because she's so healthy and they just think, there's no point in even trying here, so they just surrender because her body is just like, don't even think about it, because she eats greens and beans and healthy things and takes lots of vitamins.
Not really, but
So anyway, so today, interesting topic. You've probably heard it said many times that God is all you need. And today we're going to talk about how that's not actually true.
I didn't think that was the topic, but...
And today, you've heard it said that God is all you need. Today we're going to talk about how that's true.
Okay. Well, actually, if you were here with us right this second, you would think that we thought all we needed was some Christmas trees. Because we now have 2 Christmas trees. Okay, so we started the season out without any Christmas tree. Because last year, after Christmas, when we took down the tree, we finally decided to be brave and get rid of it after Christmas. Because see, if we would have kept it another year, we would still be putting it up. We just would, because it was a lovely tree. And I had it for probably close to 20 years. And it was just really starting to shed its needles all over the place.
Yeah, this is the small one right here.
Yeah, and so we decided that, we should get a new tree. And so we found one that wasn't pre-lit, didn't want one of those either. But it was kind of big, our living room's kind of small. So then we saw a smaller tree. I was like, oh, we'll get that one. Now it's sitting there in the living room and it's like too small-ish. And I'm not quite sure. It's not made quite right. Top half is like really thick and the bottom half is very sparse. Though it looked great in the store. But the one that was in the box that we got, it was a little, unbalanced.
Yeah, see down there it's all, got gaping holes and things, and then at the top it's like, really bunched up, but it's just weird.
And we have tried. Aspen's fluffed it, Brett has fluffed it. I didn't try fluffing it. But all we need is definitely not Christmas trees. Actually, we do have one more Christmas tree. Bought it at Walmart. Wow, I don't know, any number of years ago, and it's small too. But Brett took it over to the office last year, the year before, and now it's over there.
Yep.
So technically, we currently have 3 trees, and we're going to go out Monday and look at more trees, so we can return some trees.
Yep.
But all we need is God. And when I wrote that out, I thought, where's a Bible verse that really just like supports that says that? Does the Bible actually say God is all you need? Well, search the internet. I didn't see any text that said that specifically. And yet, Psalm 23, to the rescue again. It just starts out perfectly. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. God is all we need. When we have God, we don't want for other stuff because we already have everything that we need, right? So there's our proof text for today. God is all we need.
I want things.
You want things?
I want things.
What things?
Chocolate.
You have chocolate. I just put chocolate chips on your breakfast.
She does do that.
Yes.
And it's okay. It's not a lot of chocolate.
No, it's probably like a teaspoon.
I can't have lots of chocolate. I can't have lots of anything. See, I want lots of things that I can't have.
Yes, but God is all you need.
Well, bread and water's all I need too, but...
You can try that if you want.
Yeah.
Okay, so God is all we need. If you're a Christian, basically you agree with that statement, right? As a rather simple sounding thing, though, isn't it? And since it's so simple, we think that we do that. And just like other things in the Bible that sound so simple, we just automatically think that that's how we live because it's so simple that clearly that is what we do.
I don't know. I think it's dismissed. It's a platitude. It's like, let go and let God and just pray and God is all you need. It's just a simple platitude that we easily brush off and it doesn't mean a whole lot.
It doesn't mean a whole lot, but I think we still think that we do it. Like
There's a truth behind all those platitudes. They just get used so much and we don't think about them. We don't really what's behind it, it's the
true.
thing. And what we're kind of saying is because it sounds God is all you need. But then, well, you'll see. It's we're going to get into like, well, what does that look like? What does it really? What are the that kernel of truth behind God is all? Because it does sound just kind of an oversimplification of things.
Yeah, so I'm going to add just another like half a sentence after that kind of changes it a little bit, a different way to look at it. And I found this in stuff I had previously written. So I hope that I'm the one who wrote it and maybe someone else wrote it, though usually if someone else wrote it, I try to make that known in my writing. So here we go. God is all we need, and that is what he wants from us. It just really changes up what it means to us. It's no longer a platitude.
What do you mean by that? God is all you need, and that's all he wants from us. What does that mean, Miranda?
He wants us. He wants to be all that we need in our lives. He wants us to live like that's all that we need. Is that he is all that we need.
I thought she needed to explain that because just to hear it, you think, But it's the idea that, well, like Abraham, God kept trying to get Abraham to that point of, I'm really all you need. You don't have to try and fulfill the promise on your own. You don't have to lie to protect.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm all that you really need.
Yeah. And yet, you're right. And it was a journey. That
Children of Israel through the desert. Over and over, God's trying to say, I'm really all you need. You don't, have to worry. I'm going to give you water. I'm going to give you manna.
Yeah. So the rest of Psalm 23, allowing the Good Shepherd to be all that we need, takes us to heights and depths that we could not have reached on our own. It's no longer that simplistic little thing that we kind of just brush off. When we live out those simple truths like that, it takes us to places that new depths and heights that we had no idea existed.
See, Miranda doesn't have a whole Bible. She's just got one of those little free Bibles that has Psalms and Proverbs in it. That's why she's always in Psalms 23. It's all she really has to work with, people. That's it.
It's not true. It just works really well all of a sudden, so here we are.
Everything, basically. This is like when we were on, was it Abraham?
Abraham for a while, yes. Went on a real Abraham kick. But it's really amazing how much truth you can draw out from one simple
Well, I think the Bible's supposed to be like that. It can be very, very simple and very straightforward and plain for, the masses of people to understand. And there's also way many depths and perspectives and, that people can study and get into. It's got everything. It's got both,
Yes.
Psalms 23 really is a great example of I'm all that you need, and I want you to live like I'm all that you need.
Yes. And so yesterday I was actually desperately looking for a way to finish up salt for today, I read through James chapter 2. And there, James 2:26. As the body apart from the spirit, which is our breath, right, is dead, even so faith apart from works is dead. I thought, oh, well, that sounds interesting. So I read the commentary for that. Ordinarily we would think to compare the body to the works, right? And faith would be compared to the spirit or the breath. And yet, according to Ellicott's commentary, faith is the body, the sum and substance of the Christian life. Works/obedience, the moving and quickening of that body, just as the spirit is a moving and quickening principle of the natural body. So I don't know about anybody else, but I see better in pictures, basically, and so I have to see it. I had to go through that a number of times in my head to kind of get that. But I know Brett is much better at just hearing stuff, and then he comprehends it better.
Yep.
So, in case there's anybody else out there like me, yes, where you can see things better than you can hear things. Imagine God creating Adam, right? The body, right there, and there he is, just laying there, not doing anything, because...
As men do.
Because God has not breathed the breath, his breath into him, right? And so when God breathed into the Adam's body, it became a living soul, right? And he got up and he did stuff like name the animals. Stuff, right?
I was going to throw a video in here, but it was a humorous video. Adam and Eve's first argument.
Oh, and what was that?
I don't know. They're having an argument, and she starts getting on him about all the dumb names he gave animals, and platypus, and then she says hippopotamus, and he says, well, woman was taken, and she throws a coconut at him and hits him in the head, and it's a funny video, but I couldn't find it. It's one of those sermon illustration videos.
Yeah.
We should remake that. You and I would do good at that. We really could.
Could be fun.
Yeah. I don't know why I throw that in, but anyway. Yeah, I think that when you're talking about the Ellicott's thing, it makes sense because the body, faith, is like the foundation. I mean, it embodies everything, faith. And then the works is the mechanics and the motion, the movement of the, what faith does. Mm-hmm. So that made sense to me.
Right, and into it is breathed God's works, not our works.
Right.
Right.
Although later you're going to see the difference between God-breathed works and when we tried to do it.
Okay, so let's picture us as a body, right, of faith that God first of all created and then breathed good works into, God's good works into. And so now faith goes about doing good things like naming animals, for example, right?
Fluffing stuff.
Yes.
Kitty. See how good I am?
Yes.
I got that from Adam.
Or whatever good works that God has for us to do that day.
Yeah.
And so picture that your Christian life has a body, and that body is faith. But faith does absolutely nothing until God breathes into it his works. So I went to Hebrews 11 for things like that. Things like Noah building an ark, Abraham offering his son as a sacrifice, Rahab helping the Israelite spies, the Israelites crossing the Red Sea as if on dry ground, and yet when the Egyptians tried the same thing, they drowned. And by faith the walls of Jericho fell down after the army marched around them for 7 days. Clearly, all of God's works and couldn't have been done by man. So the body is faith, the works is the breath, and that breath breathes life into faith. So this is where the works of God sometimes look different than we perceived. So take the disciples, for example, and then, there was that one day they were just busy jaunting along with Jesus, right? And all of a sudden these mothers wanted Jesus to stop and bless their children. And the disciples are like, no way, we do not have time for that. So just go away. And because Jesus is busy. And Jesus is like, oh, wait a second. You know what? It's all right. The children, let the little children come to me. And see, when we live out God's time for Him, we have time to do the good works that He breathes into us.
Can you do that again?
Do it again.
The whole jaunting thing.
Jaunting.
That's how people knew Jesus and the disciples were coming, because they were coming down the road like this. And they were like, oh, look, it's the disciples doing the Jesus jaunt. And that's what they were doing. Sorry, she did that, and I just got my... like, oh, we're just jaunting along with Jesus. We should make something out of a T-shirt. I'm jaunting with Jesus. That would be...
There you go.
There you go. Sorry, I got off on a sidetrack. But I think it's a good point, because even in the other things you said, like, building the ark and going to the... those are the works that, of faith, and they wouldn't have made sense. It's not something
not at
Noah
all.
or any of them would have thought to do themselves,
Yeah.
And oftentimes, the works that, God wants us to do are maybe a little different than what we perceive. Like, we would choose something else, and yet...
Yeah, the disciples were like, no, Jesus doesn't have time for that.
Yeah,
There's little children, come on, He's got work to do.
And it would have made sense to everybody around them. They're like, well, of course, there's more important things to do, But Jesus was like, no, this is the most important thing to do right now. And He had a lesson in it for everybody. So yeah, oftentimes the works were breathed into us are different than what we think we should be doing.
Yes, that's right. So then there's the story of the disciples in the boat, and the storm comes up, and Jesus is sleeping through it, right?
So keep in mind now, we just works of faith that, wouldn't make sense to us maybe. We thought, that's not what we should do. We should be doing this over here. And yet those things are things that Jesus wanted us to do. Now in the story, the disciples, the boat, and the storm, you're going to kind of see the comparison of the two. Okay,
and Jesus is just sleeping through the storm, right? And
Which is not what you would think someone should do.
No, you don't want Jesus to sleep through the storm. No. Yeah.
You want Jesus alive, awake, alert.
Yes, but the thing is, they forget that He's even there.
Right.
So they're so busy fighting the storm themselves, they forget the simple truth that God is all that they need.
Yeah.
And so they fight on because they have put faith in their ability to handle a boat.
Because they were boatmen. They
had
a boat. They knew it.
They were professional fishermen.
Yeah.
Yes.
They were pros at this. They knew how to fight storms.
Yes, because you weren't going to live if you didn't.
Yeah. So they're doing all of their works to drive the boat and sail, and keep the things afloat and doing all the things they know to do, doing their kind of works, forgetting the plain truth that was in front of them.
Yeah, and just like when I lived in Alaska, when you're in a fishing community, like Kodiak Island was, occasionally a boat would go down. And either you might know someone that was on the boat and didn't survive, or you knew someone who knew them. And so no doubt they too, in that fishing industry that they were in, had friends possibly, who had gone down in a storm. And so they did their best in a storm. So let me see. They fight on because they have put faith in their ability to handle a boat, right? And that kind of faith is dead. It's dead. It has no power. God is all we need, and that is what He wants from us. Faith, the kind of faith that has God's works breathed into it, asks for help. Faith does not try to conquer the storm without the help of God, because that kind of faith is dead. And dead faith has no power. So just remember, that story was headed towards ending because they thought the boat was going down. So living by faith is asking for God's help. And since faith is a journey and using it creates more of it, sometimes God calms the storm on the outside, and sometimes He calms the storm on the inside while the storm on the outside still exists. So when the disciples finally asked for help, they've arrived to the point of living out the simple truth that God is all they need. And when Jesus called His disciples, He said, come follow me. Little did they know how those first steps of faith, leaving their old life behind them, would change the world, or how their own hearts and lives would be changed. Because living by faith grows faith. But it's living by faith, of course, is living out the future that God tells us is there, in a sense. Well, he told Abraham and Noah and such like that. And it's walking towards that, even though you can't really see how that's possible. So sometimes people think of the Bible truths as pretty simplistic, right? And yet when you live out that simplicity, you begin to see its true depth and nuances. The simplicity of a statement like God is all that we need, and the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want, become a depth and a height that we will never reach the bottom or the top of when we live them out in true belief. True faith that has a breath of God breathed into it.
You're going to do some more Jesus jaunting. Come, follow me. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't know. The only thing I thought about adding to that was the whole, living by faith builds faith, and we've said before, it's a journey, and it's just a very simplistic, one day at a time journey. And you get into the day, and it's not like, and this is kind of what we're talking about. It's not like, Jesus is all I need for my entire life. Jesus is all I need for today. Today is enough for me to get through. Today is enough for Jesus and I to jaunt through, and that's all I need. And then the things that happen and the victories we get and the stuff that we live by and fight, that just grows and grows,
Yeah, and as I was putting this together, it reminded me of a topic we'd done recently on forgiveness. And the point was that we forgive by faith, because we cannot begin to see what our future looks like after we have forgiven someone or after we have accepted the forgiveness of God for our own sins. We can't imagine how different that is from living out our own unforgiving of someone else.
Yep. So yeah, but today is what's today's date?
The 16th or the 18th?
18th.
Oh,
Today's
the 18th.
Yeah.
Oh.
So the next time we'll be on will be after Thanksgiving. So I hope if you're traveling, safe travels. Help get family and friends together for your Thanksgiving dinner or whatever you're having. I'm sure I'll be having very little of anything. Gone are the days of the big Thanksgiving feast.
That's true. It's a little sad that, because Aspen and I used to just really plan the whole Thanksgiving meal and what fancy desserts we would have and things like that. And
not anymore.
It's true, but
now it's just like, what do you want? Peanut butter and jelly sandwich here.
No, I still a turkey and mashed potatoes and a little gravy. But I have found a dessert I think we're going to give a try and see what happens.
Oh, I don't think I want gravy this year.
No?
Your potatoes don't need gravy. Your potatoes are good with just butter and salt.
Okay, so no gravy then. Too many carbs, really.
Too many carbs anyway, really. I'd rather have more potatoes.
More potatoes, yes.
Because I don't get much of those either. What are we having? Potatoes and...
Yeah, mashed potatoes. And the bread, of course. Hawaiian buns, hopefully.
Oh, yeah, if they get Hawaiian buns.
Yeah, if they get them in. But, and I don't know. Do you want to know what the dessert is?
Sure.
Okay.
Our general audience would like to know.
Yes, I think we'll make coconut cream pie.
Of which I'll get that much of.
No. This is a low-carb keto pie.
Oh, yeah. A keto pie. Well, it'll be interesting to try.
It will be.
So far, there's been no keto dessert that's been, yeah. I mean, they'll say they're things, and they're not those things. Like, some of them, they aren't bad. Like, oh, that's pretty good. It's not this, but it is pretty good, Like, there's a fudge sickle, It's like, all right, this is not a fudge sickle. It's not bad. It's pretty good for you, but it's not a fudge sickle.
Well, we're doing what we can, and hopefully he likes it.
What did we do last year? We did some keto thing last year.
Did we try the key lime last year?
I don't know what it was.
I think it was okay, but not a repeat.
Yeah.
Not like, what did Aspen make a couple times one year was Boston cream pie cheesecake. If you haven't had that, you're missing out.
Yeah, that was really good. I tasted it.
We're not trying that for keto ever.
No. Yeah. Yeah, keto desserts just, they're okay, but yeah, they're
Well,
not.
I was hoping that coconut cream pie would be different.
We'll try it. It's always worth trying.
It's true.
Because again, it might end up being really good, just not coconut cream pie, but good some other way, you know. There's some cookies that we had before that were like, okay, these are not what they say, but they're not bad.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, whatever you're having, and if it's wonderful, dripping, sweet, sugary desserts, I don't want to hear about it. But we hope you have a good time anyway.
Yes, may your table be laden with yummy foods.
Yes, yummy foods. And so have safe travels again if you're going somewhere, and blessings on you and your family, and we'll see you